Hey everybody, this is Vince Miller. Thank you so much for joining me for another devotional. Today we're going to be in John chapter 5. I'm going to read one verse, verse 14, and I kind of want to set this one up because it's a super cool verse. So Jesus was just outside the temple ground at the pool of Bethesda. And remember, he's there for this big feast, which means that Jerusalem is packed with people who have traveled all over the countryside for this feast. And he walks by the pool and notices that there's an invalid lying there who's been lame for about 4 decades. He then heals him and commands him to get up and to take his mat and walk. But because of the miracle, we assume that people from the crowd begin to rally around this guy, and I would assume there's a big commotion around this. And while all this is happening, Jesus just kind of slips away. Now, this former lame man who's now walking around gets confronted by some religious legalists because, well, he's carrying around too much weight on a Sabbath day. He then, the lame man, deflects to the man who healed him, but he has no idea what his name is. Then, sometime later, the two men meet up again. That is the lame man, or now healed man, and Jesus, and they meet up on the temple grounds, which is close by. Now, I would assume that this lame man has come to offer a sacrifice for his cleansing now that he's been healed. And here's how the text reads. It states, afterward, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, this is important, "See, you are well. Sin no more, that nothing worse may happen to you." Now, there is so much to learn about Jesus in these short words here. And here's just a few points. First, Jesus cares about our suffering, both physical and spiritual. Second, Jesus cares about the state of our relationship with God and the sin that impedes that. Third, Jesus cares about our character and the day-to-day choices that we make. And fourth, and this is important, Jesus cares about our future state and sins that could result in further harm or punishment. And I really think all these points are essential for us to understand about Jesus. But it's that last one that sticks with me. I mean, most Jews at this time believed that those who were born blind, lame, or paralyzed were invalids because of generational sin. That is, the iniquity of their fathers. Now, I assume many believed that the man who was lame here was in that state for some sin that had preceded him. You see, Jesus then relieved him of the burden and the suffering, therefore, of someone else's sin. Now healed and cleansed, Jesus gives him a fair warning to stop the cycle of perpetual sin and avoid passing on the penalty to himself or any future generation. And guys, this is the truth about sin. Sin does directly affect us, but often we forget sin affects others as well. It affects our spouses and our kids and our relatives and our co-workers and many others. Think of sin like a train carrying deadly chemicals with bad brakes. Can you imagine that? You can only ride those bad brakes for so long until it derails. And when it does, eventually it spills out everywhere and on everyone, killing wildlife, shutting down businesses, reducing home values, and making people sick. And guess what? No one likes a person or a company that does that, do they? Thus, Jesus gives us all fair warning in these words today. See, he says, you are well. Sin no more, that nothing worse may happen to you. I love you guys. I hope this blesses you today. I hope it convicts you today. And I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.